I am moving to New York City, and here's how this decision saved my life. I have lived in LA for nearly 8 years, and I was comfortable. I had a handful of friends and family that lived nearby. We were similar and rarely disagreed. I went to the same restaurants and the same bars. Life was fine. I could live and die in the city and be okay. And then one day, I had this wake-up call. I was featured in the New York Times in August, but that very same day, my aunt passed away. And then shortly after, I got sick and couldn't sleep for days. I remember being up at 3 a.m., looking at this list I made of 100 of my greatest fears that I wanted to conquer, and I realized how many of them were also my dreams. Moving to New York City was at the top of the list. And I just decided right there, I'm moving to New York. I'm thinking that there are a million ways to die while you're still breathing, and for so long I have felt myself fading. The decision to move to New York City saved me. When I was younger, I had this vision for my life, that I would live in these big cities and experience new cultures, but somewhere along the way, I got lost. There's this fine line between when a city is either your home or your hiding place, and LA stopped being my home years ago. I still had doubts about leaving, but then, a week before I was supposed to go, I was assaulted in my very own apartment. And just like that, it was the nail in the coffin. I had to leave LA, and all of a sudden, New York City became a refuge. It became a dream that kept me afloat amidst the greatest trauma I had ever experienced. It was confusing and difficult, and I wasn't sure if New York was somewhere that I was running towards or a place I was running away to. I was having endless breakdowns in my childhood bedroom, trying to deal with the aftermath of my assault. There were moments where I felt like I couldn't breathe. Being in California became painful, and all I wanted to do was go to New York for a fresh start. The night before I left for New York City, my parents made my favorite meal and we talked about life. I spent all night packing my entire life into 2 suitcases, and I procrastinated because I was terrified and on the edge of self-sabotage, but my dad spent all this time sewing up my favorite stuffed animal from childhood to take across the country, and it made me feel loved and a little bit more calm. The morning of my flight to New York City, I felt like I was in this alternate reality. Today was a day. It was like skydiving, exhilaration, fear, adrenaline. I have a hard time believing like I deserve good things and that I have the ability to achieve my dreams. I'm always thinking that the other shoe will drop, always waiting for the bad news, but that's not how I want to live my life. I could and would not allow myself to believe that I would be moving to New York City until I was on that plane and it had left the ground. The whole day, I was more anxious than excited. I'm going to New York City today, and I'm crazy nervous. We'll see what happens. But here's the thing that I'm realizing. Life really is exactly what you make of it. In March of 2020, I got laid off, and I had so little to look forward to, but then I committed to going on this healing journey. I did nothing but work on myself. I went to therapy, and I could never have gotten the courage to move to New York if I hadn't done that. And I made it happen. Me. I remember a friend telling me that she couldn't ever see me leaving LA, and those words haunted me for months. I remember my family saying that I was too sensitive and that I wasn't ready to go to a city as harsh as New York. And I believed it. I made myself small. Until I didn't. Until I decided to redefine what I thought I was capable of. When I got on that plane, everything changed. I think I forget oftentimes that life is meant to be lived. Like, lived. You know, when you achieve a dream, it's like you're sitting on top of this mountain and you think, when did I turn this abstract dream into something so real? Is it legal to have life feel this beautiful? Is it okay? And that's how it felt to look out the window and know that I was closer and closer to this life that I had always wanted, but never thought I deserved. And honestly, that is the closest thing I've ever seen to magic. Here I am, in New York City. New York City saved my life because in my darkest moments, I had something to look forward to. I had something I could latch onto when I saw nothing. Moving to New York City saved my life because it represented the fact that I still believed in myself, in my dreams, in my ability to do what I once thought was impossible for myself. But it is still my responsibility to keep saving myself in small ways. New York City will not solve all my problems, and it never will. No matter how many museums I go to or rooftops I watch the sunset from, I will still be me. I'm still struggling with my mental health, I'm still healing immensely, and I'm still going to therapy. I bought a journal because I know it's going to be hard and I'm trying. Running away to a new city doesn't solve all your problems. This isn't a fairy tale with a magical happily ever after. It's going to take work. As the saying goes, wherever you go, there you are. But I plan to be a better me in the city of my dreams. Until next time.